Hello, hello. We should now be live. Hello, everybody. It's Tom, very lowest of men here. It's they came from below going live, which isn't normally something I do, but it's what we're doing today, which should be really fun. It's a little GSC show on 6++ that you may have listened to if you're a GSC fan, and we're going to do a live show because Davey was keen to do one because we're going to have a chat. There's a beautiful symmetry here because I went on Davey's show to talk about Tyranids. Now he's coming on mine to talk about GSC because we're both shamelessly corrupt like that, and so to the uninitiated, we're going to be talking about Final Day tonight. Davey and myself both played for 6++. We've both played a little bit of GSC over the years. Davey is a more recent devotee, but he's really enjoying them at the moment. So we're going to be picking his brains because he's been diving deep into the Final Day detachment, which is a detachment I myself was a big fan of and had a go at playing last year, but I think is far more interesting now. And we got to watch Davey playing on stream at Coventry just gone, and he's been on a very decent run with the army. So Davey, I shall let you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your recent journey into GSC to set the scene for us. Then we'll dive into the detachment.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. Blast from the past for you, Tom. So I long-time Tyranid enjoyer and decided to do a new army at the start of the year with a bunch of us. We did Greater Greatness, so we all decided to do a new army, and I decided to do GSC because Final Day come out with the
got my orc here. There you go. Never forget. Never forget. One day.
Never forget. Tom's trying to do orcs again, maybe. So off the back of that, I was playing a bit of Final Day because it's a lot of fun. Like the rules are quite interesting, and it's the kind of army that I enjoy. Right, it's really techie and weird, and I'm a pretty what do we call it? So like a delicate little flower who likes
That's
to do something.
What you like to say. Yeah, absolutely.
And as a result, I decided that Final Day would be something cool. I seen that Nick Natavati had some good results at LVO with it, and I was like, well, it can't be rubbish. So let's figure that out. So that's what kind of got me onto it. And I've obviously got the Tyranny models for it, and I decided just to give it a whirl.
Wonderful, yeah. And obviously, I suppose if you are moving from Tyranny to GSC as you were, and as I'm sure some others might be, this is the ideal place to start from a hobby perspective as well, right? It's just a sensible choice.
Yeah. And you get obviously you've done half the army because you've probably got Gargoyles, you've probably got Death Leaper. And the rest is your flavour that you want to use. So for me, it was super straightforward to get into it. And it has been so much fun because it's such a wildly different army to Tyranids. Look, I love Tyranids, but they are boring as hell right now. And I would love to say that they're interesting, but it's just not quite tickling my pickle, so to speak.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. So, I mean, let's start to talk about Final Day itself then. I mean, for the uninitiated, what's the appeal here? What are we getting if we play the Final Day detachment? What's the kind of rule set that we're talking about?
Yes, so obviously you get the GSC recursion points, number one, right? So,
yeah, that's big.
Which is like you don't get defensive strats because your defensive strat is you come back to life.
Yes.
So it's kind of
quite good, right?
Put in perspective how good that is. All those detachments that have a 2 CP regen a unit strat, all of those have said you can only do this once.
Yeah.
When you put that in context, that's actually still amazing, right? As in terms of power level. So really strong detachment faction roll, and then the detachment is giving you +1 to hit when Tyranids are near the unit you're trying to shoot or fight, and your Tyranid units get +1 to hit when you put mortal wounds onto a GSC unit, so because they're eating them, and you also regen or heal wounds, which doesn't matter. Don't worry about that.
That doesn't come up much, does it? Yeah.
So that's the thing, and of course that I mean you get the amazing GSC tool set, which is like so good in terms of secondary scoring, scouting, aggression, infiltration, indirect shooting, mortal wound output. I mean, if you compare that to World Eaters and Tyranids that I play outside of this, it's incredible mortal wound output.
Yes.
And then on top of that, you get to access, and this might be unpopular on this channel, but you get access to upgrades versus some other GSC units.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I mean by that? Well, I love aberrants. I think they're great. They're really fun, right? Slow as balls.
They are slow.
But what if I said you had movement 10 and reroll wounds natively? All of a sudden you've got Raveners and reroll hits, reroll wounds. Yeah, like it's just they're super good.
Yeah, so I think that for me is the big change with the detachment, right? Because I played it a bit last year, and that was before the new Raveners came out, and obviously they make a wild difference here, and it's exactly as you say, where they are just a quicker aberrant unit that hits more consistently, really.
Yeah, pretty much, and of course the rapid ingress for free, heroic for free, not in the same turn though. You also get to up your Downy for free because you attach them to a Ravener unit. So really, really strong stuff. And then of course you get the melee lone ops, which GSC don't have, which do a really good job of protecting the saboteurs.
Yeah, they all combo really nicely. Actually, their Death Leaper and Sabos sort of guarding objectives together is really fun.
It does, man. It does, and even like the OC, the Gargoyle piece as well, in terms of creating space for your GSC units to come into. Because that's the worst thing in the world, Tom. I'm sure you've seen it. Is if you have GSC player and your opponent's taken over the board. You're like, well, I guess my detachment rules much worse. Oh, sorry, my faction rules much worse now because I can't get anywhere.
Yes.
The Gargoyles just push your opponent back if you want them to.
Yeah.
Or they get end of game scoring. Just as good, right?
So you get a sort of quite beautiful board control army out of this. And that was certainly, when watching you play it at the event, it felt like there was a real board control army to be played here, and all the different tools in the two armies actually synergize really nicely. And there's lots of fun combinations that, A, it looks amazing on tabletop, and B, it actually works really well.
Yeah, there's some really cool, cute synergies, right? So you've got daft stuff like, say you need to be on the other side of the board, right? You want to put a 5-man, I don't know, acolyte unit on the other side of the board to do your opponent's home objective in flames. You can eat that unit with the Tyranids, with the hyper-adapted Raveners, who then you reuse the recursion points to then bring that unit back later in your reinforcement step of that movement phase.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, one.
Hello, Mum. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's all right. I've got some guacamole here. I'm pretty excited. So I think, David, the most important thing to say is that obviously as you return to Final Day here, what you found was actually the detachment was competing really well. Your actual win rate and your tournament performance is actually taking a nice uptick as you start playing the detachment, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to talk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, really interesting. Obviously I started trying it in April, right? And my thinking was, right, I'm going to play this. I'm going to take it to Nova because it's really cool and it's really different. Obviously I didn't consider how many boxes of stuff I'd need to take to America. But in the end, I played a couple of events with it and I died on my hull, Tom. When I tell you I died on my hull, my win rate was 32% with this army.
Yeah.
I went 2-3 at a GT in Essex. Where some people coming up to me saying, "Oh wow, you've got a chance of winning it," and I'm like, "Whoa, you haven't seen this army? It's a big pile of dump." So my win rate was about 32% for April and May, and then I brought it back because I was playing World Eaters going into Nova, and on GW Terrain I loved World Eaters, I loved it, but then I got back and LGT is coming up, and I'm like, why is everyone taking World Eaters? You can just get shot off the board immediately, right? Like immediately. And I thought, I think a lot of people are thinking this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread, but actually the counter to it's pretty easy. So I thought, I don't want to play that. I want to play something else, despite having a really good, fun time on World Eaters. It was a sad decision. But I thought, well, what's going to be good? Fast shooting is going to be really good on UKTC. A couple of easy to hide melee threats are going to be good on UKTC. Lone ops are going to be great on UKTC, and I just thought all these things added up to try and Final Day again.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a toolkit that actually suits the UKTC terrain set, I think, really well.
Yeah, and then I bought the hyper-adaptive Raveners, and I thought, right, okay, all of this is adding up. The other thing was I was really inspired by getting my ass absolutely handed to me by Ed Watts. Teams, Ed literally 100 to 14 points me, right? With this hyper-aggressive Eldari army.
Yes.
I also had a few practice games into Jack's Monkar build, which was just, get round the UKTC terrain, turn 1, and shoot the living crap out of you. And I was like, that's really cool, because the games become so aggressive. If you're going first, you be aggressive. If you're going second, you kind of hold off and try and score end of turn scoring. Like it lives and breathes that at the moment, the game.
Yeah.
I just thought this army gives you the opportunity to do both. With Scout 9 on 4 units that I have, or 5 actually, 5 units that I have, I can get angles with D3 blast las cannons that hit on 2s. And that seemed really good. Of course, the lone ops give you good mission play. Purge the 4 and hidden supplies is still a bit of an issue, but
Yes.
Although Purge, I've not lost on Purge, I don't think.
There you go. There you go.
It's all of a. It's funny because you just absolutely murder your opponent. So it's
That's always been the secret to winning on Purge. Yeah, absolutely murder the opponent. So it gives you a sort of push option because you've got a lot of scout, you've got bikers, you've got ridge runners, you can push up, you can get in their face, you've got forward deploying gene sealers and things like that.
Yeah,
and so it just lets you play that high tempo game that gets around some of the defenses the opponent has.
Yeah, your opponent, Tom. I don't know if this is your perception of this. I feel like people look at GSC and go, "Oh, it can't hurt me."
Yeah,
I genuinely think they look at it, and I say to them when I'm like, "These guys are amazing. These are D3 blast las cannons that hit on 2s. If I have Tyranids near you, and I will have Tyranids near you."
Yeah.
This block of 20 people here, these are just inbred dudes, right? But they hit on heavy weapons, hit on 4s when I have Tyranids near you, and
lethal and sustain,
and they have lethal and sustained.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. And then all of a sudden, half their army's gone in turn by turn 3. And they're like, "What's happening?"
I think the damage is far more significant than people appreciate, and that has been the thing Final Day does. Is it takes GSC units which are incredibly swingy and makes them very consistent. And the same, I mean, the NIDs are already pretty consistent, basically.
Yeah, you bang on. I think that's what it really does. Is it adds a level of reliability because not only with that, I mean, for example, with the 20 man, not only is it giving +1 to hit, it's also giving the sustained. So then all of a sudden you're getting into the realms of Host of Ascension territory.
Yes,
in terms of output. It's
that's it. I think the one Neo brick is one of the key tools in the list, right? You have that kind
that's a new addition as well, right?
A unit. Yeah, so I love that thing because it combos so well with the uppy downy strat, and obviously it's a great way to have your lethal and sustain. It's just like you're saying, you get one brick that still hits like it's Host of Ascension time, pretty much.
Yeah,
which is quite nice.
And the thing is, Tom, as well, we've been speaking about the detachment and the thing. We haven't spoken about the strats, right? So the strats, everything is like a good 4 out of 5. Like in terms of the detachment role, it's not the best detachment role, but it's like a good detachment role.
Yeah.
The faction role is a good faction role. The strats, I think two of them pretty much are garbage, and then the other ones are interesting, but they're not like the best things as well. So reroll wounds for a melee unit. It sounds pretty mid, but as soon as you put it on either 10-man GSC unit, Gene Sealer unit with the Patriarch, and you're suddenly fishing for lethals and killing a big knight, or you're putting it on a unit, metamorph unit with +1 to wound, and lethals. I mean, lethals don't synchronize with that, but still, either by. Like it can be really strong. All of a sudden, a 10-man metamorph unit can body something.
No, completely. I think that's right. It's a buff that GSC don't have in melee anywhere else, and it's incredible because it takes all of their combat units up. And now that you have other units in the list like Raveners, the issue I always found with Final Day was you were very wedded to using the reroll wound strats to your damage, which did let you do incredible damage. But now you can do that with the GSC stuff, and then the NID combat stuff is also very good. So you actually have several different big activations in the list.
Yeah, you called it in our meeting, didn't you? You've got layers, right? So like the screens go out, the bikes go out first and bother people with mortals, try and soften everything up a little bit. And then the way that I like to do it is I pick something that essentially the Gene Sealer brick needs to kill.
Yeah.
And I send it at them, or I'm rather defensive with them. So we see what happens in that sense. But yeah, it's I've not tried the 10-man metamorphs. I think it's more popular in the States on GW terrain when people have been playing Final Day. But I'm not feeling it at the moment on UKTC. I just rely on the speed of the Gene Sealers too much.
I think it's one of those units that probably needs a truck to get all the way to being consistent.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think there's things you can do with it, but as you say, you've got the Patriarch unit lurking there, which probably gives you enough. But that's actually, again, one of the interesting things about Final Day is despite being a slightly niche detachment that is ostensibly about mashing two armies together, I think there's actually a lot of room still to explore with it, and there's quite a lot still to be done in terms of actually squeezing the juice out of it, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, as I say, you got the uppy downy as well, which is really powerful. That's the other
Mm.
strat. And then the fallback shoot and charge with a Tyranids unit. It's not terrible.
No, not at all. That's the thing. Now that you've got the Raveners, that's really relevant. It's actually very annoying on Gargoyles as well. If you have any Gargoyles alive,
Yeah.
it means they can go and be more primary denial somewhere else as well. So actually, I think the strats that you actually use in there are all fantastic, and give you a toolkit to play the game really, really well. So relocate those neophytes, keep hitting stuff, get your Raveners in, reform back if you need to, reroll the wounds. There's lots and lots of damage and movement, so it's quite versatile.
Yeah, the other one that is low key really good is if they kill a character, you get +1 to hit and +1 to wound.
Yes, that one is nice. Yeah.
So loads of detachments have this kind of strat, but nowhere else have I found it as compelling as in this detachment, because you can just put Death Leaper out, right? Say you do a bit of trading, so all the chaff's gone. You put Death Leaper out. They have to kill him with something proper. They can't just like muck about. So then, like for example, Big Knight in my round one opponent comes out and bodies him, and I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
Now everything is like I'm wounding you on 2s with mining lasers, so it's 2s and 2s, and yeah, it's really really powerful in this detachment. You've got the strength 3 20-man unit off flame.
There's a lot of little auto guns.
Fives.
Yeah, once you've got lethal hits and +1 to wound and sustain, starts adding up pretty aggressively, right?
Big time. They have got the stupidest strat that I've ever read. If Tyranids are in combat, right, with a unit,
I know the one. Yeah,
my GSC unit can get +1 to charge and can reroll the charge for 1 CP. You mean the charge I can just reroll for a CP anyway?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a bit of a joke.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch. If it was +2, that might be quite spicy for coming out reserves. But...
Oh, totally. And then the other one is so increase the catalyst aura is way better than I give it credit for. I'd used it twice at the weekend because I had to, because the gargoyles couldn't quite get to where they needed to be. But it's sometimes really useful.
Yeah, that one's absolutely clutch. If you want to get the +1 to hit on a target, but you don't really want to shove a nid somewhere, you know, and you're like, it's actually hidden here. I can put this on this, and then I can still shoot this. Then that's a really nice time to use it, right? Because you're protecting a unit that way.
100%.
Yeah, and so if we're thinking about the enhancements, how many enhancements are you at with this detachment this stage in your list, buddy?
Well, so there's 4. One of them can only go on a winged hive tyrant, so that is completely
that one's in the bin. Yep,
that one's set fire to and never seen it.
Yep.
One is just as bad as that. It's something augur, synapse augur.
Oh yeah.
You get an extra wound when you heal, or you get double the wounds when you heal.
Yeah. Don't need to worry about that one. That's fine.
Yeah, no one cares. So you've got 2 left, which is Enraptured Damnation, which ignores Overwatch for 10 points. Sure, okay. Yep. I'll take it. And you know what? Come up so many times with Gene Sealer Brick. So I'm a big fan of that, actually. For 10 points, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I think actually quite a few armies do not enjoy there being a no Overwatch threat that you can hammer at a key moment, right? And that it means that you always get to jam the Patriarch Brick in an aggressive way at some point, and you're going to get all the bodies, which is a big part of what you use it for, right? Because it blocks people in as much as anything else in the turn that you send it.
I was talking about as well, right?
Yeah, there's a lot.
They just hurt Gene Sealers.
They really do. yeah, because you want to reroll all the wounds with that unit to get the dev spike. If you lose half the Gene Stealers on the way in, it's not going to do it. So it's a really good candidate. I think that's basically the issue with the Metamorphs. It's like if you were going to take the Metamorphs, you'd want to give them the no Overwatch because they made a paper. And then they'd be nicking that off the Patriarch. So it feels like it's a one or the other situation, right?
Because the other, I think, you use one melee brick being Gene Sealer, a Gene Sealer cult unit. And then the second one is the Raveners because they just come in where you need them.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then they're the next wave. The other enhancement is Inhuman Integration.
Oh yes, yeah.
That is the one that we're putting on the Benefictus.
Yes,
which is the lethal. So they have lethals and sustained. And for I think it might be 25 points. I can't remember. I think it is.
Yeah.
And actually, on paper, you get sustained hits if Tyranid is nearby. That's quite a lot of hoops to jump through.
It is.
It's a hoop for something for an enhancement that probably, I don't know, Death Guard get for 15 points, right? But it's so good when
this is the thing
when it comes around.
I think it would work on the combat units, but I think that was, I mean, we were discussing it when you were sort of innovating and iterating, and I just think that Neo brick then gives you a volume shooting unit, which you don't actually have otherwise. Really, like
No.
you've got your high quality shots with your lasers and whatnot, and flamers here and there. But it's like, where is a lot of shots coming from? And ultimately, a Neo brick with sustained and lethals from the Benefactors is it's just an all rounder kind of unit. Because it's got so many shots with sustained and lethals, it will pack damage onto pretty much anything. And that then becomes your sort of precision damage piece, right, in the list.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've obviously if the Tyranids are nearby, you still get all of those things if you fire an Overwatch. So
Yes, you do.
which is also really nice. And I think I haven't checked this, but it's something that crossed my mind. You know, when you can extend the range of slots, you could potentially, like, if you think your opponent is going to push into you, push that button at the start of your opponent's movement phase. If you have the CP, like, we're talking like
Yeah.
CP,
It's a
but you
good
can,
Overwatch unit. It definitely
and
is.
then say, look, you can come near me, but I've pressed this button now, so I'm getting the sustained. And
Yeah.
then it's kind of neat.
Yeah, one point of curiosity I did have for you was the Benefactors versus a Primus, because obviously I'm thinking in terms of potentially getting free strats on that break with the Primus and the Nexus, and the ability to redeploy your units. But I was
Yes.
curious how useful you found the Bene herself, because I would typically end up using the Bene, I think. But I
Yeah.
was curious, if did the Bene carry her weight with her own brain lasers?
Yes.
She did. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
she does. Yeah, she does. She's like the amount of times I've
It's so funny how much damage she does when she pops off. Like, it's unreal.
I mean, with lethal and sustained. So
Hmm.
then all of a sudden, 3 saves, please, and they're like, and your opponent's like, "What? Who was that?" And you go,
Yeah,
"That's it's
that's
that
that little lady there.
little lady there with the big head." Um,
Yeah,
and the amount of times I've said, "Right, I'm going to put this entire unit into this and kill, and hopefully the unit kills it," and then I just roll her and it's picked up, and I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh, save some time."
yeah,
Um, But yeah, no,
yeah.
she's great. I haven't tried a Primus. It's annoying that you can't take the Primus and her. Obviously, that would be sick.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think probably the Benny is you just want the damage. I think actually the Primus is probably cute rather than good. But it just occurred to me that the uppy downy being free would free up CP for other things. But I don't really know what the CP economy is for other stuff in the list.
It's okay. It's okay. I think I've never been like really suffering for CP
Hmm.
because you are on your turn. You don't really have any defensive strats, so you get your CP, stuff dies, and then you uppy downy, and that kind of is the thing really.
Yeah,
Uh, is the rhythm on your turn? You're generally using it for the reroll wounds or something else that's stuff. Maybe a reroll charge because actually
yeah.
the one strats you're using are uppy downy and reroll wounds.
Those are the key things, right?
Those are the
Yeah.
key things. And then I have found myself sometimes like, oh, I wish I had the one CP because they're going to kill a character now. But broadly speaking, that the CP economy is not too bad. I have
Mm.
thought about a Primus because the redeploy is really interesting.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff you can do with that, especially on current UKTC, and it's nice to tell some armies not to have that scout lane. But it's interesting. That's one thing I am tempted by. But the Benefactors lasers are just so good.
Yeah, I have made some changes to the list. We'll maybe get to that at the end.
Oh, that's very exciting. Okay, I mean let's talk about the list. I mean, did
Yeah.
you run the same list pretty much through the two events? Because you obviously you had a 4-1. What was the event you were at?
Oh yeah, so I was at Willing Games. That was a 4-1. So
Yeah,
that
so 4-1
was
with the detachment there.
yeah, and then a 5-3 at Coventry, which
Yeah, which got you up in the top tables. You were 3-0 under day one. You played against Lewis Smith from Ignite, right? This carried you all the way into the reaches.
yeah, I mean, look, I'm still blown away that I managed to get past Adam Boas. The
Yeah,
guy's
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
guy's brilliant.
Yeah, I can see exactly why his list would not like Final Day for what it's worth, because he's got a lot of vehicles that do not want mining lasers that are going to shoot at them with AP4. It's so good.
54 doors cover.
Yeah,
God bless.
exactly. That's not at all what they're in the mood for. So, I mean, what were your main? Take us through the list initially and what the builds you
Sure.
took out to those were, and then we can think about what the learnings were.
Yeah. So the list. Oops, I don't know why my phone isn't opening now. So the list. Yeah, the list I was taking in April was very similar to like the Nick Natavari list, which was like a very not much in the way of killy stuff.
Yeah.
So you were relying heavily on the Ridge Runners.
Mm-hmm.
And me and you spoke about this. Like the Ridge Runners are really good into elite infantry, but they're not good at killing vehicles.
Tanks, it's like they might,
They
but
might.
they probably won't. I'd put them like on the scale of reliability. It's like they actually sit below Scourge for me when firing at tanks, and that honestly that's saying something,
Yeah.
Davey. To be honest,
Well, Tom, you notably said on stream that these are not. You don't like them as anti-tank,
and then
and
you immediately one shot a tank with them. So
right. Anyway, the list. So we've got Benefictus within a human integration with a 20 man of neophytes, which we've already spoken about.
yeah,
Patriarch with Enraptured Damnation for the
yeah,
no Overwatch with 10 Gene Sealers.
yeah,
2 Reductor Saboteurs.
yeah.
And
I
we'll go
love
into
double saboteurs. I love. Yeah,
I'll go into this in a bit more detail. We'll just get through the list first. So we've got Acolyte Hybrids with Hand Flamers, no icon.
mm-hmm.
Neophyte Hybrid with an icon, obviously. So that's the 20 man, sorry.
Yeah.
2x2 Mining Laser Ridge Runners. 1 Ridge Runner with a mortar.
Yep.
2x5 Atalan Jackals with your Mining Laser Wolf.
God, aren't they so good? They're just such a good unit.
I these earlier. 5 Metamorphs. No all Flamers, no icon.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. We're getting into Tyranids now. Death Leaper, Gargoyle, High Productive Raveners, and then another unit of Raveners.
Yeah, nice. So you've got here. It's like Final Day and Host of Ascension have had a baby, right? The Host of Ascension list that we've seen that have gone away with the Neophyte bricks, some bikes, some early pressure, some sabs. Those have died a death. And what you've now got is you've got the core of that, but you've actually added in loads of mission play, loads of scoring from Tyranids, a big hammer unit in the Patriarch, a big hammer unit in the Raveners, and you've got the lasers from the Ridge Runners as well. So it's sort of it's an evolution on a theme of things that were working, I think, in Host of Ascension, but it now leans hard as well into all the stuff that works in Final Day, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's not to say about indirect.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so stupid.
It's got a lot of indirect in there, right?
It's got I mean three sources of indirect means that I was playing Lewis like my last game. Obviously, I got my butt kicked by Lewis because I was just trying to figure out how to get around this matchup. But I decided I was going first, and I thought I'm not letting him just have the game. So I thought, I'm going to go and try and kill a Riptide with some Gene Stealers. So, but he put Crew in front of it. And he's like, yeah, you're going to have to charge into these Crew. I'm like, am I though? So we mortar them, and we get like loads of shots. And then the next indirect, and then the next indirect goes in. And he's left with, I think, 3 out of the 10. And they were the ones that were just like holding hands in front of the Riptide. Oh, no. So yeah, we nearly got it.
That's what I like with I like the double saboteur mortar in here because it's just enough to strip away chaff and strip away, MSU in T3 armies especially. And that's something that I think because you've got these big activations, you want to be able to do that at the same time.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. I'll go through some of the key units if you like.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, let's talk through what did you come away from this run feeling was absolutely working for you?
Oh God, I mean, nearly everything. So I know it sounds daft, right?
I watched the game. I saw it. I saw every bit of it work. It felt like a sort of orchestra. It was quite beautiful. The list worked really well. Yeah.
I think it's a 69% win rate actually over the 2 events.
Yeah, so, you had it great. You had a really good run.
It's kind of working, but and this is in no particular order. This is in just like what I was thinking about at the time when I was taking some notes. Saboteurs are incredible. Seeing as we talked about those, we'll go on to those. They're great for passive play. They're great for aggressive play, especially because I can put Tyranids next to one of them and they throw demolition charges on 2s.
Yes.
It's crazy.
That is really fun. Yeah.
So, you go into someone and you got first turn. Maybe you need to kill, I don't know, something with 9 wounds, right? 10 wounds. Mm-hmm. You can run the bikes up to it. They mortal it. Then they throw a grenade. Then the saboteur throws a grenade for free. Then we've turned into nearby on 2s, demolition charges and indirect. And all of a sudden you've done 10 wounds, easy peasy. Like you can really the output of these saboteurs are amazing. The only bad thing is you can't do it more than once a turn. If they, so that's when you start to question if 3 is the right thing because it's like, actually, I'm not going to get to activate all of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's the thing with the defensive mortals as well, right? Because you can only trigger it once per turn. It's not as useful, but 2 you can definitely get value from, and it means you can be a bit pushy with one of them, which is nice.
Absolutely. They're really difficult to deal with next to a lictor.
Yes.
I think the difficulties that I sometimes come across is whether I deploy them safely or aggressively. Um, losing them early without the bomb going off really stinks. But then, for every time that happens, you throw 5 free grenades. So
Yes.
it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's it. It really kind of keeps you like. I think that Final Day, one of its issues is if someone just runs at it, it will fall over. Like GSC,
That
kind
typically
of,
is the issue, right?
but the more spiky things you can put in front of them, and this is one of them, the more they don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I think of. I actually think Final Day is a little bit better suited to be going second and being pressured because you've got the ability to relocate the neo bricks, so you can just hit them somewhere where they're trying to pressure you. You have the gargoyles to block by time, and you get the ingress on the Raveners, so you're going to be able to hit fairly hard back in a way that I think, especially lists like Host and Outlander Claw, especially just don't have. They just don't have that kind of onboard pushback in quite the same way.
Yeah.
So I really like Final Day for that. So I mean, I think what other key units did you kind of
So
arrive at
obviously the
after?
20 man we've spoke about.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Yeah, so like some great examples of how this went. So against Knights, game one, it's on Terraform, sweeping engagement, so the wide boards. You can just up your downy and be on one side of the board, really safe from everything on the other side. Because that's the thing is, you want to bring it down and then for it not to die and get
Yeah.
multiple activations. So it alongside some like recursive, like you up your downy it, and then you bring it down. Then you bring down a recursed bike unit with a las cannon, and then you've got the ridge runners there as well. And then all of a sudden you're pointing 5 las cannons at something that did not know one las cannon was coming at them
Yes.
essentially, and then you go, oh, and Tyrannies are next to you, so I'm hitting on 2s, 3s, and 4s.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and of
It's
course,
really flexible. Yeah.
one of the other great uses of it was obviously the OC is amazing, so you kind of want them to be on an objective, but against World Eaters or Elite Melee, being in the corner of the board is amazing. I was playing against Ash, and they just sat in the corner of the board and shot onto an objective. And he doesn't want to come off the objective to deal with it because he doesn't want a unit to be out of the game for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll kill the unit, but actually that unit is obsolete now because it's going to take him 2 turns to get back to the objective. So I feel when I'm playing this army, I'm trying to drag things and make gaps in between things.
Completely.
And that feeling when your opponent moves something off their home objective forward to screen another space, but then leaves the space behind him free. Oh, it's like, yes, I've done it.
Yeah, it's an army that always ends up getting in behind eventually. Like it just does. Like it's got the capacity because it can whittle screens with indirect, because it does apply a lot of pressure that requires dealing with. And it pulls people out of position, like you say. In the end, that was what I thought watching your game, was that the initial battle was tough enough for the opponent before any recursion got involved, right? Before any of the stuff coming back in got involved. They had to commit a lot just to repel the initial assault, really.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that game in a bit because absolutely winnable, but it's just I mean, mistakes that I'm making now that hopefully if you take this, not you, but the wide, if anyone watching wants to play GSC, like take my learnings, because it's
absolutely. I mean, let's move to the learnings then. Obviously, I mean, in terms of what you played and what you learned, what sorts of games did you find Final Day really thriving in? Were there any really positive matchups, and what difficult matchups, and what were its sort of strengths and weaknesses out in the field?
Yeah, so just last thing to touch on the Ridge Runners, like that's what built the army for me. Like I love the model. I've tried to paint them really nice. But them scouting 9, moving 12, so they go 21 inches in turn 1 of you go first.
Yeah.
You tell your opponent and they go, yeah, sure, okay. And then all of a sudden you're behind their big L and blasting the shit out of them. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really
an OC6, really difficult to kill. Stubbers are amazing because they're twin linked.
Yeah.
And in every game, obviously, they're playing a massive role, except the hard matchups, which we'll talk about now. I'm trying to think, is there any other unit that I want to talk about? No, that's about it, I think, really.
I think those are the key things. The bikes shouldn't be underestimated as that early pressure, and they do exactly what they do for Host in Final Day, which is like mortals where people don't want them, tying things up. That one mining laser is always a risk for like a rhino or something. They've got to be careful because some mortals half hurt it. You can grenade it, you chuck a mining laser. And again, what the list does super well is just repeatedly block the opponent from getting to certain areas, right? It's really good at doing that. And you've got a great first wave now thanks to the bikes. I think the bikes getting the buffs they got when they did helps Final Day a lot more than I really appreciated watching. It's not just the Raveners, the bikes are a really good include there.
Yeah, and they also, like that trick I did on the stream game where if you can get a CP out of your opponent turn one, then you just charge something that can't kill it. And then and that was just a dream. I was like, I think I looked over to you after that and I was like, that was a good first turn.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you get them tied up and tagged, and there's some armies out there right now that don't like that at all. You've got a lot of little units to throw away to keep people tagged up all game.
Oh, absolutely. So the bikes as well, another fun story about those. I played into a Tyranid player. Really nice guy called Adam Battle. What a ledge. Mm-hmm. I killed an Exocrine just with like one unit of bikes that keeps recurring.
Yeah.
And what they did was they'd come back, drive over to it, throw a grenade at it, las cannon it, charge it, get in combat, and then he would kill it over a couple of turns. Or the Exocrine would fall back and something else would have to kill it. And they'd just come back and do it again.
Yeah. It's great.
And they're so annoying. Like
they're a real pest of a unit. Yeah, the fact that they're 2 recursion points now, it's just really fun. Just really fun.
My brain as well, because I can just say to my opponent, anything with 5 models comes back 5 times.
Yeah,
like it's 5 times 5, dead easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, matchups. You asked about matchups.
So, yeah, absolutely.
So this is something I'm still learning. Like with World Eaters, I played over, I want to say like 50 reps with it, and I have like a document. Like I'm an Excel nerd, right? So I record all the scores, what their primary differential, etc., and then it kind of pumps out a matrix for me, so I understand. My matrix with Final Day isn't. I don't have enough sample size to make it compelling or to really understand it. But what I can tell you that though, Guard was horrible.
Yeah,
I have nothing that deals with Bullgrim.
No, you don't. You absolutely don't. No.
My Flamer's wound on 6s. My damage 2 is damage 1. My mortals don't kill guys because he'll roll a 6.
That is ironically a matchup where the Metamorphs are quite good, just through volume of attacks, and the Biophagus specifically on his go turn is good into Bullgrim because he goes up to like the +3 damage, so he goes directly through the Thorn thing. But Guard is tough. Guard is tough for sure.
Yeah, so you could get the Metamorphs on AP 2. I think I don't think it matters. It's 3 or 4.
No, it's just volume. Just volume. Yeah.
Yeah, and then strength 4, but +1 to wound. Rerolling wounds for a CP with lethal hits. Yeah.
That would do it, yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, my opponent had 2 6-mans, which is rare, I think, at the moment. But still I just felt like I was hitting him with a pillow. I did kill 1 unit, but it took pretty much all my army.
Yeah. And I think it makes sense to me that the armies that can pick you off at a distance with a lot in front, that's where the fragility starts to show, right? Like I think that's one of the issues.
That's when the Ridge Runners get scared, right? And the Ridge Runners want to go forward, they kind of lead the charge almost.
Yeah, in matchups where they're winning duels or just able to shoot unimpeded, they have a great time, right? They have a really good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course Tau was very difficult, but I think Tau's, broadly speaking, a difficult matchup anyway. Same reason, really. We want board control, and they have board control because their infiltrators are amazing. So that's a lot of the changes I've made are with that matchup in mind, to be honest. But I mean, I don't think I've solved it, but it's hopefully going to mitigate it a little bit. So those
are bad games. What are the good games? Because there was a bunch of wins.
World Eaters feels really nice, especially
that's interesting. Yeah,
this weird non-shooty stuff that people are doing at the moment because
no fortunes. Feast, Davey.
Yeah. I just literally stand in the corners like Lewis did actually on stream against World Eaters with his style. I just kind of do that and touch the and go, okay, just pew pew, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Up you down your unit because you can't scream me out. And Custodes was interesting. I think I give my opponent an in, unfortunately, at Willing Games, but I did manage to still win that game, so that was fine.
Yeah, I think, and again, a sort of T6 infantry, that feels like something where the mining lasers are really nice, and the Neo Brick is solid as well.
Yeah, Knights was good as well. Knights was okay. Didn't mind that, but we have to connect with what we want to connect with.
You need the Ravener and the Patriots to work in that game, right?
Yeah. I think it's hard. I want to tell you oh, this is the best, this is the best. But there's been games where I think it's been a good matchup, and then I've made a mistake and I've let them in. So, great example is my first game at Willen against Waldy is actually, I was just a little too close to him to get over Rhino and advance and charge. There's just lack of pre-measuring, really.
Yeah.
Hubris, essentially. Same with my game into CSM at the weekend. I was really confident in that matchup, to be honest. I thought, okay, I think I've got all the tools to really deal with this. The Vindicator started off the board. I was like, absolute beaut. And I thought, all I've got to do is like let Bile sit in the middle and watch as I spin circles around the army.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that before, right? The thing is with UKTC, all UKTC players do this thing where they go, right, well, number one thing to do, my big melee threat goes behind the big L.
Yeah.
So, great, cool. I'm just going to go anywhere near it. You have the middle objective. I'll have these ones over here.
Exactly.
But I was a little bit too close, and he got the charger. But actually, he got into the middle, and he had a 6 charge, which he re-rolled, and he failed it.
Right,
so I was very lucky. But then I put the Gene Stealer brick in, and this is an indicator of the Gene Stealer brick. It sounds scarier than it is. He just went in and killed like 4 chosen.
It's a lot. It's actually a deceptive number of wounds when you're damage 1. That's the thing with it.
It was that was pretty rough. That was pretty rough, but it was a good game. Good game. That was probably one of our closest games was the CSM because but I think I could have done better. I just made a couple of mistakes.
Yeah, I think watching that game, I think it's not easy for you because they have a lot of stuff and all their stuff hurts you real bad.
Yeah.
But you do slice through their units, right? Anything, it seems like with Final Day, because you have the lasers, because you have the reroll wounds, Marines of any kind are just going to die. Like there's not a Marine that they can put in front of you that you won't kill.
No.
And that opens up those games. And again, you have the layers of blocking and recursion, and you out activate them a bit. It's just if you can out muscle them before your fragility shows. Really, that's basically.
Yeah. And then of course the Space Marine game against Adam. I mean, he was so unlucky. I went first, and he couldn't quite hide a Repex. He had to stick its nose out or stick its bum out. And like,
if you're going to tell me that your Ridge Runner's one shot a Repex, Davey, we're going to have words. Okay, fantastic. Right, let's do it. Let's tell me this story. Okay, good.
There's just this narrow line through, and I just went, all right, all these 4 are just going to go like this.
I love it.
And then and then I think I needed both units. I think I just did need, because obviously water it first, get the AP, and then
of course the thing with them is that AP4 ignore cover is just more than most things can deal with, and that's and that's where GSC can be with the Ridge Runners. It's like, although the number of shots and their hits can be a bit hit and miss, literally, if they wound, that damage goes through. It's very, very effective against anything that doesn't have an invuln, right?
And then, of course, he was very unlucky. He then stuck the next Ripex out, didn't kill a single. I had a 6-up save.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yes.
The trick.
Oh, I love it. I love it very much. That's great.
But, that was it. That was sometimes, and of course, in the stream game, the being able to kill that vehicle turn 1 put me in a position to score primary. Did I do it? Well, that's not quite. We won't talk about that. But no, it gave me a chance to. But that was the biggest mistake that I made, to be honest, and I'm still making it with the army now. I'm trying to fix it. Is scoring primary.
Yeah, I think in that game it was just that it was very fraught in the middle. You applied pressure really well. And then it's just that once or twice when you needed to get your 5s for the mid board, you didn't, and that was the way of it. It's like you put actually watching the game. I think GSC have a pretty good game into Sisters. You can definitely cause them a lot of trouble because there's so much stuff and it gums them up, and they don't like being tagged Sisters very much at all. And so I think Mikey did a good job to play out from that one, but it was razor close, right, against one of the best armies in the game right now.
Yeah, no, it was super close by the end of it. But yeah, I think that was some of the best play I've had with the detachment.
100%.
Was on stream.
100%. Yeah, it was super cool. If you haven't seen that game, it's on UK TCTV. I highly recommend checking it out. It's a lot of fun, and the two armies really do put a good showing in, I think, and take lumps out of each other, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and to talk about the Tyranny units, actually, just real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
So the hyperactive Raveners are amazing. Why are they so good? Well, so if you're on the defensive, which I have been a couple of times, you can rapid ingress them in for free, and then for 1 CB you can then heroic them.
Yes.
So you put your stupid 5-man idiot unit on an objective. Your opponent goes, "I'm going to clean those.
I'm going to go and get that." Yeah.
And then you just pop up out the ground and heroic, and against Martin Friedman from the Death Corps of Krieg team. Really lovely guys. He charged in with 2 units. I heroiced into one of them and then piled into the other one, and then all of us, like, I've traded for like 2 or 3 units at that point. So it was really, really, like, really sweet. That was with World Eaters. You charge in with Spawn and something else, and you just heroic into one, and then you get the pull around, which is just so cool. They obviously have a little flamer, which is by
They
the
do.
by. You can So it's something we've been talking about, which I've not really done. I did it. I think I did it once actually, where I took wounds on the prime once the 5-man
Mm-hmm.
got. Then you can spend if you were so inclined, you can then eat some GSC to regen that or to
Yes, you
heal that
can.
model.
Yeah.
So that's quite
And
cool.
there's 1 or 2 little tricks with that now, and I think again the hyper ravs basically open up options, don't they? In a way, it's like that's a unit that when it dies you could get the +1 to hit and wound, which is nice because that is on a 1-way ticket once it gets into the game.
Yeah,
And then the other thing that did occur to me is that it can eat models from the neophyte Brit at some point if you want, just so that there's a regen to happen on the neophyte Brit. There's some sort of, like, it was quite fun for having the grow back later on in the game. Anyway, I don't that's a bit cute, but it would be quite fun to try.
look, if I did that in my game against Mikey, I think I would have won it. And
Yes, yeah, because
but
then you can grow onto
absolutely
points
something
and
I
stuff.
should have done. Absolutely
Yeah,
something I should be doing, because it's one of those. That's the next level of, I
yeah,
think, and I'm trying to get there now. But they kill a knight, which is really nice.
they do.
He's quite a big unit, so it's quite hard to hide on UKTC.
Yeah,
So yeah,
watching the
and then
games,
sometimes,
it felt like you make space for it by causing chaos, and then it gets
yeah,
a good place to ingress, and then it pushes, right?
absolutely. It tends to get its fair share of something. There's
Oh,
a couple of
definitely.
games where you've already done the damage by the time they come in, and like in one game, all it did was terraform an objective, and it's like, oh, sure.
Why
But
not?
because the way that the game is at the moment, if you are that aggressive, sometimes you can just win an army with 160 point, 150 point, 1,500 points. Sorry, because you've been able to activate all of it into theirs,
Mm.
and all of a sudden the game's kind of done. So yeah, that's kind of the thing for it overall. Really, I've got tons of stuff that scores, and I can be massively aggressive.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and I think we've spoken about Death Leaper. The gargoyles are just gargoyles. Gargoyles are funny. As a Tyrion player, I would never use them. If I played any other army and they said, "Do you want gargoyles?" you would take them.
yeah,
They are outrageously good,
they
and
are, especially in
we're
this
seeing a little bit of
detachment.
resurgence with them. I know that
Yeah,
Scott Morris was using them, and he came second.
there's quite a lot of stuff that's running around on foot right now. So being able to stop that getting where it wants is good. And again, because you have that ability to relocate and switch up where you're doing your damage, it's a bit Eldar-esque, to be honest, Dave. If you say gargoyles say you're staying over here, I kill everything here, then I'm going
Yeah,
to go and piss off and do it somewhere else in a minute. And I think that's what, watching you play it and watching the waves of attacks and the switching up angles of attacks. I think especially on UKTC, there's a real toolkit to play very good 40k on UKTC right now in Final Day. It's flexible and it's very dangerous, and that's what I don't think people appreciate about it. Right, the damage involved.
yeah, and you get to be super cool and play an
You
army no one
do,
else is playing. There's like,
yeah,
look, like, I didn't want to play World Eaters. The other reason I didn't want to play them was because everyone had a plan for them.
yeah, yeah.
Like, no one has a plan for Final Day. They're like, what
People
is
do
this? Is this
not
that
have a
rock?
plan for
Are
Final
you
Day.
brought this detachment?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but it is quite funny. You say about UKTC. If I was playing on GW or WTC, the list would be totally different. Like,
yes.
mad different. I don't even know if I'd take the Ridge Runners.
Oh wow.
Well, I wouldn't be putting mining lasers on them anyway. I think that's where you start to look at more mortars and
Yeah,
melee
that's
units.
interesting. And I mean, let's talk about list direction, because obviously you said you've made some adjustments. I'm curious what your adjustments are, and then I'm curious about what other variants you think might be out there in Final Day as well.
Yeah, so the second unit of Raveners did have moments in the last 13 games.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, uppy downy, it's something I'm doing anyway, right?
Yeah,
So I like one unit to go with the hyperactive against like loads of MSU. I can split them up, but that's fine. I get another unit. So I'm thinking they have come out. Everything else is pretty good. I keep going back and forth on the acolytes versus metamorphs,
mm-hmm.
but the acolytes are so good, and then sometimes the metamorphs are so good. So I'm sticking with one of each.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's so tough because I think to myself all the time, oh, I'd love another unit of Metamorphs, or I'd love another unit of Acolytes. I think there's only space for two 5-man idiot units in the army,
Yeah, I think realistically that's right.
and I don't want to lose a flamer that rerolls wounds and is OT2. And the Metamorphs are really good for challenging your opponent's natural expansion as well, or
Yeah.
going towards your natural expansion because they scout forward and then can move on and cleanse,
Yes.
which is really nice, things like that. Um, so so that's the thing. The Raveners have come out. I think in comes a Lictor,
Hmm.
and this is to stop scouts, really, but
Hmm.
also to be an easy move forward and be
Yeah.
within 6 inches. Because the other option, which I've spoke to you about, you're not a big fan of them, is Von Ryan's Leapers.
Yeah, but
Uh,
look, there's a lot of people talking about them right now, so maybe I'm not quite seeing it. Maybe it's time for
ah,
me to abandon my anti Von Ryan's Leaper stance.
so I like them, but I think on UKTC, there's always an angle you can get at them. Whereas a Lictor with Lone Up, it isn't as easy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a world. I think Lictor's probably edge it, but I do like Von Ryan's as an idea, and of
Yeah,
course
yeah.
Von Ryan's are 10 points more.
I
I have
think in
120
terms of the pressure, the
points.
force pressure, they are good, man. They are annoying.
Yeah, because they can absolutely move block. They do the 6 inch +1 to hit thing, and
And it's
all.
again, that's it. It's like it's a unit that's going to apply the final day buffs. It wanted to go forwards anyway. It's obnoxious to shift. And yeah, so I think try it. I think maybe it's time for me to soften on Von Ryan Leapers and say this is the age of exploration with Von Ryan
So,
Leapers. Let's give it a
so
go.
I would say, yeah. The problem we have is I've only got 125 points because the
Uh,
Raveners, that's what they are. So that leaves me
yeah,
with 55, which gets me a whole lot of nothing.
yeah, it's a
Um,
difficult point. Yeah.
so what I've ended up with is a third Saboteur, right?
Okay.
The reason being is the indirect is obviously a really useful tool.
Yeah.
But I also have been thinking about the amount of times I got caught with my opponent, I've put something on an objective and they've said, right, I'm just going to shoot you off that objective. And if I can rapid ingress a Lone Up onto there, because there's all the
Hmm.
turning ones, I don't have deep strike except for
The
the
su- the
parasite.
surprise the surprise loan up ingress is very good, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think a good player won't necessarily get caught out by that, maybe.
but they have to
But
play like you can do it, which is also effective. Yeah,
yeah, I don't mind them coming closer because then I get
yeah,
I get to do my things. So
yeah. And if they
yeah,
send something relevant, you can just bring the Raveners in instead, and they can go and play with
well, as you said
them.
before, yeah, exactly. So as you said before, the Tau game and the guard game outrange me. If they don't
Yeah,
outrange me, they have to come within 12. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
then we're talking. So I think that and a Lictor
yeah.
is where we end up.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Because then I get more presence in the mid board because I'm screening out
Yeah.
the infiltrate and the weird scout nastiness that Tau and Eldar do. So,
Yes.
so yeah, that's kind of the plan at the moment.
Yeah, super exciting. I think there's a lot still to be explored. I think you've done very well going out there and demonstrating it because actually it's a detachment we've simply not seen played much in the UK in recent times.
Yeah,
And what I was struck by watching you play, it was like, this is definitely better now than it was a year ago when I was last trying it, and then it was when Nick Nanavati was trying it previously as well. I think the meta for it, but also the suite of tools it can draw on now is better and stronger, and it really suits UKTC as well. I think as a style.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's what it is, Tom. I think the
Yeah.
UKTC
It
really.
also looks phenomenal on the board when there's just stuff all over the place and you've got big bugs, little bugs, sort of GSC running about as well. It
There's been
comes
some
together
cool,
really nicely.
there's been some cool ideas in America on GW terrain where they've been running tacos, 10-man taco units
Yep.
with mining weapons and stuff. That's quite fun.
Yeah, I think there's probably room for one more like hammer unit in the list. I think there probably is. That I mean, that's my personal bias, as you'll know. But I think something like that, another combat hitting unit, would open up certain things. But it's just working out the balance of options in the list, isn't it? Always.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I could have room for a 10-man metamorph unit, which again I've thought about by removing the acolytes, but it makes me very nervous. I like having little idiot units running around.
I fully agree. I fully agree, and that's what I actually like about Final Day, and it's what Innes has said about it from the start. Is that it's beautifully balanced. That is what it is. It's just been really well thought out, really well written, everything in it has costs, and you want all of it, but you can't have all of it. And that's a really fun place to be as a list writer and a player, because every time you come back from an event with Final Day, you're like, oh, I could shimmy this around and do this instead. And it's actually amazing. Certain armies and certain books don't have that right now. So it's very cool that a Grotmus detachment has it.
I mean, look at Floof. Floof's been going with 3 mortars.
Oh, really? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then loads of melee, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, super cool ideas. And it's giving people the flex. But it's taught me a lot about the differences between GW and UKTC. I mean, obviously, I knew about them in the past, but like now it kind of brought it to life looking at having focused on GW for like a good 4 to 5 months heading over, and then like going, right, UKTC, what we're doing. And just to point out, I got my ass kicked in all my practice games. I really want people to recognize this. Like, don't win your practice games. If you're winning your practice games, you're not playing good enough players. Like, go and get your ass kicked.
Absolutely. No, this is it. And I'd say that was it. I was delighted for you. I think it showed that you have really kicked on this year. And again, to go out there and do it with such an unusual detachment is really, really cool. Davey, massive thanks for coming on. This has been really fun. Thank you to all of you for listening in. Hope you've enjoyed this. Davey's joined me in Camp GSC. I was pretty lonely over here at 6 Plus, so hopefully we'll cook up some more GSC stuff for you in the future. So if there's anything you'd like to see, do let us know in the comments afterwards. Thanks so much for watching.
Questions in the comments as well.
Yeah, exactly. Questions in the comments would be fantastic, guys. And we'll flag up anything we've spotted as well. Thanks so much for watching. Do hit like and subscribe, and we will see you again next time. Keep on fighting that good fight with the GSC, guys. All right. See you again next time. Bye-bye.
See you guys.